If you've ever been in the middle of a public toddler meltdown, you know that feeling of sheer desperation, right? But what if the key to preventing the next one isn't some new parenting trick, but actually what's in their lunchbox? Today, we are diving deep into the powerful, and I mean powerful, connection between the food your toddler eats and how their brain works.
It's the question every parent asks themselves. We blame the terrible twos, we blame nap schedules. But what if the real culprit is something much more direct, something we have complete control over?
Well, a whole lot of research is pointing to the idea that the answer might be hiding in plain sight. Yep, on their plate. So let's take a much closer look at what's going on.
59%. Just let that sink in for a second. By the time they reach mid-childhood, nearly 60% of a toddler's daily energy is coming from ultra-processed foods. And believe me, this isn't just a phase. It's a pattern that can set the stage for their entire life.
So that brings us to what we're calling the toddler plate problem. We're going to break down what ultra-processed really means and why it's become such a huge issue for our littlest eaters.
You know, we're not just talking about simple packaged foods here. We're talking about these full-on industrial creations. Think about those neon-colored cereals, the snacks that can sit on a shelf for months. They are literally engineered to be irresistible, but for a developing brain, they're often like a nutritional desert.
Okay, so how exactly do these foods affect a toddler's brain? This isn't just a guess or a hunch. We're talking about a direct biological process that we can actually see in action.
Think of it like this. A sugary breakfast sends your toddler's blood sugar on a wild roller coaster. First, there's this super fast spike of energy, followed by a sudden, jarring crash. And when that crash happens, their body releases stress hormones, and that's when you get the irritability, the poor focus, and yes, the meltdowns. A whole food breakfast, on the other hand, is more like a gentle, rolling hill. It provides a steady release of energy for a calm, focused, and much happier day.
And another huge problem is that these ultra-processed diets are missing the essential building blocks for a healthy brain. I'm talking about things like omega-3s, which help brain cells talk to each other, iron for building memory, zinc for regulating mood. These are absolutely critical. Without them, a toddler's ability to learn and manage their emotions takes a direct hit. And listen, it's not just about what's missing, it's also about what's added in. This quote here is from a landmark study, and it shows a direct, measurable link between common food additives and an increase in hyperactive behavior in kids. It's pretty eye-opening stuff. And this goes way beyond today's meltdowns. The food choices we make for our toddlers right now can have a huge, long-term impact that literally lasts a lifetime. I mean, just look at the comparison. The long-term effects are really stark. A diet high in these ultra-processed foods is linked to a higher risk of obesity, lower grades in school, and even heart problems later in life. But a whole food diet? That sets them up for a lifetime of healthy habits and a healthy body.
19%. This one's a really sobering statistic. A major 25-year study found that a diet high in these foods leads to a 19% higher risk of dying from heart disease as an adult. The choices we're making in the grocery aisle for our toddlers today have literal life or death consequences down the road.
But here's the hopeful part. This is our chance to make a massive difference. The eating patterns that are set in these toddler years are incredibly likely to stick around for life. This is the critical window of opportunity to put them on a path toward a long and healthy future.
Okay, so what can we actually do about all this? I know it sounds like a lot, but the good news is there are some really simple, practical strategies you can start using literally today to make a real difference.
First up, the plate method. This is a total game changer, and it is so easy. No more stressing about counting calories or weird portion sizes. Just visually fill half their plate with a rainbow of fruits and veggies, a quarter with some lean protein, and the last quarter with whole grains. That's it. It's a simple visual trick to build a perfectly balanced meal every single time. Next, let's talk about smart snacking, or what I call powerful pairings. So, giving your toddler a banana by itself can cause that same sugar rush and crash we talked about. But if you pair it with some healthy fat and protein, like nut butter or a piece of cheese, you slow down that sugar absorption and give them steady, long-lasting energy for hours. Same exact idea for something like crackers. On their own, they're just a quick carb hit. But pair them with some hummus or guacamole. Now you've got a snack that will actually keep them full and focused all afternoon. It's a simple swap that makes a huge difference.
And finally, when you're at the grocery store, you gotta become a label detective. Look for these red flags. High added sugars and sodium are the big ones. And then check for things like artificial colors and preservatives. A good rule of thumb, if you can't pronounce it, you probably don't want your toddler eating it.
So as we start to wrap up, I want you to think about this not just as being about food. It's about making an investment in your child's future. The choices you make today are going to pay dividends for their entire life.
And please hear this. This is not about being perfect. A treat at a birthday party is totally fine. This is all about the overall pattern. What truly matters is building that healthy foundation, one good meal at a time. It's about progress, not perfection.
Every meal is a choice, and every single one of those choices creates a ripple effect. The healthy habits you're helping them build today will shape their health, their happiness, and even their success for decades to come.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What is the most powerful investment you can make in their future? It might not be a trust fund or a fancy school. It might just be what you put on their plate tonight.